Hello and welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. We've got a whole lot on the program this morning. And yes, Super Eagles finally having a new coach in person of Bruno Labbadia. And not just that, the 23-man squad list came out late yesterday evening, and we'll be seeing those who will be taking part in the AFCON 2025 qualifiers. We'll be looking at that list and other stories on the show this morning. I've got Wilfred Shiando, a grassroots football expert, joining me on the show again this morning. Welcome, Wilfred.
Thank you and good morning, Mr. Fash.
All right, let's go straight to business. Let's begin with this particular story. We'll start from athletics. You know how we do it. We'll talk about Nigerian stories, and definitely if we don't talk about it, nobody will. You are sure to get all of the updates, Nigerian stories on Trust TV. Yes, this time around, the World Athletics Under 20 Championship starts in Lima, Peru. That championship kickstarts today. And we'll have Nigerians, our team Nigeria, who will be participating at the event. Let's not forget that this particular event actually produces the likes of Favor, Philly, and Co. when they were at this age grade, this level. And we are hearing they are doing exploit for Team Nigeria when it comes to athletics. Before we actually talk about it, let's look at the team that will be representing Nigeria. Right there in Lima, Peru, we have the team for the men's 100 meters event. We have the likes of we have Caleb John, we have Chidera Eziako, we have Israel Okon Sunday, and then those who represent us in the 200 men's event, still as those who are going for the 100 meters, Caleb John, Caleb Joshua this time around, and we have Israel Okon Sunday. And then for the men's 400 meters, we have Caleb Joshua, we have Gafar Badmos, and then for the men's 400 meters hurdles, we have Osaiwe Bamayi there, Bami in that event. And we have in the men's high jump, we have Goodluck Fiaku for the men's jump. And in the men's 4x100 meters, that's the relay for men, we have Caleb John, Chidera Ziako, Israel Okon Sunday, Joachim Ugojioma, we have Tejiri Godwin. And then for the women's 100 meters, we have Chioma Unweke and then Justina Yakbo, who represented Nigeria at the Paris Olympic Games, and we have Precious Iziako. And then for the women's 200 meters event, another sensation, she was discovered during the National Sports Festival in Delta State, Asava. We have Ella Onujovevo and Precious Iziako in the women's 200 meters event. And then for the women's 400 meters event, we have Chioma Wanchuku, we have Ella Onujovevo, Favor Onya. That is for Ella, that is event precisely 400 meters. She's also trying out in 200 meters event. And then for the women's 800, we have Adia Udroda, and then for the women's 400 meters hurdle, we have Taiwo Kudoro, and then for the women's long jump, Prestina Ochunogo, who got to the finals of the long jump at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. And then for the women's 4x1, we have Chioma, we have Justina Yakbobien, we have OB, we have Precious and Prestina Ochunogo representing in two event, long jump and the 4x1 race. And then for the women's 4x4, we have Chioma, we have Ella, we have Favor Onya and Taiwo Kudoro in that particular event. I think is actually a very strong team Nigerian list for the World Under 20s.
It is indeed, of course. I don't know how much preparation they put in place before they, prior to this championship, but the thing is, this is an underage, championship, an age grade championship. So I think if at all the participants are mentally fit for the tournament, it's going to help us to have the senior team, the senior athletic team. So for me, this is just like a stepping stone for some of them, who are just gracing the stage for the first time. Okay, is it actually a stepping stone for some who are just gracing the stage for the first time? The likes of Prestina Ochunogo, she was at the Paris Olympic event, so all eyes will be on her. The likes of Ella also did so well at the Nigerian qualifier for the Paris Olympic Games and also at the African Championships
So we have a whole lot going for us. Like I said, Favor Philly and co were discovered from this particular championship in their own time. And let's not forget, in 2002, the legend himself, the living legend when it comes to track, Usain Bolt, was there for Jamaica. And after 2002, you know what, the rest is history. What Usain Bolt actually did with tracks. To date, nobody can erase that record. 3 Olympic medals in 100 meters. First man to ever do that. All right, let's leave the tracks and go straight to Paris, where the Paralympic Games is going to start tomorrow, Thursday precisely, and we have Team Nigeria, who will also be part of the Paralympics 2024 in Paris, France. You know, the way they started the other event for the able-bodied athletes, the special athletes also will be starting with table tennis. And the story is that Nigeria table tennis team gets a tough draw. They are drawn against the likes of British and then the owners of the ping pong game, Chinese. They will be playing them in the mixed event and the mixed double, in the men's double and the men's mixed event. The likes of Kayode Alabi, Faith or Bazwaye will compete in the mixed doubles event for Team Nigeria.
It's a wonderful one for them indeed, and for us, you know, having as a country having some wonderful representative at the Paralympic Games in Paris. You know, the thing is, we're blessed with talent regardless of our individual abilities or disabilities. You know, once the mind is stabilized and is fit, the talent is never a question of who gets it right or who gets it wrong. So for me, they should understand that we regard them and we respect them. We also support them equally the way we support our other athletes. So they should just go out there and forget about who they're going to meet. Who is considered the underdog or who's considered the giant. They just go there and do their thing.
Okay. Now for quite some time, these special athletes, because they are not disabled. Yes, that is, we don't call them disabled. They are special athletes, and whatever the other athletes are doing, the same they are doing. And if you've watched it, it's still the same gold medal that the likes of Noah Lyles, Leslie Tibogo wore. That gold medal they wore on their neck during the other Paris Olympic Games is the same medal they will come back with. And this Team Nigerian special athletes have contributed a lot of medals for this country, 40 in total. The last in Tokyo 2020, they came back with 4 gold medals. Now the other athletes, the able-bodied athletes, when 12 billions was spent, nothing was shown for it. And these athletes, they have really not been given the attention they deserve. What can we do?
As I say, it's a team of of the mind. These people, as we regard them, they are not disabled. They are special. They deserve special treatment. They deserve special attention, and they deserve equal respect. Give them what you give to the other, to their counterparts in the other, the other side, and then make them feel comfortable, let them feel welcome, let them feel, accepted in the society. Because for me, I'm not trying to say, okay, they're being discriminated or they've been paying less attention has been paid to them, but then they have to, understand that they are same humans as their counterparts in
Okay, all right, we have Dan Amax here from Mina joining us via Zoom. Dan, welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV. Yes, we were looking at the Paralympics 2024, and Team Nigeria table tennis team have been given a very tough draw against Britain. And then that's the British formidable team and Chinese, the owners of the game. Because when you talk about table tennis, the ping pong game, Chinese are masters of this particular sport.
All right, good morning, and thanks very much for having me once again on the show. Let me start by saying that while the Paralympics is actually starting today, the truth is table tennis has never been one of our medal hopes, or where we are actually hunting for medals. And I don't really see the hues and cries about why we are looking at the British and the Chinese as a albatross to Nigerian progression in the Olympic Games. Actually, we all know, comparatively speaking, our comparative advantages lies in powerlifting. And that is where our strength actually lies as far as these Paralympics are concerned. And I think it will be foolhardy for us to begin to overhype this tennis. Well, whatever come out of it, this is the Olympics. These are where the best of the best compete. So for the Nigerian team to qualify for this event simply implies that they are good enough to go. And more importantly, we should not be looking at the possibility of whether we get medal or we don't get medal. But the fact still remains that these people who are representing us are the best we can have at this stage. And let us allow them to go out there and enjoy themselves. Yes, Kayode Alabi and of course Faith Obazwai, these are quite athletes that have been doing well for themselves. And I hope that this point, this is where they have to showcase what they have and what they got to offer. So whatever come out of it, we don't have to crucify anyone. All we have to allow them to do is let them go out there, enjoy themselves, have the feel of the Olympics. If there are medals out of it, fine and good. But again, the British, where we're having a mixed double against the British team, look to me, it's looking a little more fertile to hunt for medals or to progression rather than the Chinese. But like you always know, nothing is impossible in sports. You can be surprised, or don't be too surprised to see that the Nigerian team will just pull up some shocks results in the table tennis event. But like I said initially, this is not actually where our hopes of medal actually lies in the Olympics.
Okay, our hopes of medals lies in the powerlifting, where we have broken record and we've set some records in the powerlifting. But for the table tennis team, before now, they were talking tough that yes, they have something to prove. The event will come up tomorrow, but the Paralympics officially start today. But for Team Nigeria, will be their first action will be tomorrow in the table tennis event. All right, moving ahead, let's talk some round leader story and come back home. We look at the most important league in Nigeria, that is the NNL, Nigerian National League. And one team in the National League preparing for the new season is trying to get it better in the coming season, where the Kebbi United appointed Adewuyi, that is Shola Adewuyi, as new coach. I will start with you, Dan. For Kebbi United, they are getting it. They want to really prove something. They want to prove a point in the coming season by appointing, because he's an experienced coach. That's Shola Adewuyi.
Shola Adewuyi, a grassroots coach, a coach that has proven his pedigree in the round leader game. But more importantly, what we are seeing happening in Cape, we saw them put a very good fight during the last Federation Cup, and they guys who believe that they can take it a little bit much higher and make sure it will actually get promoted to it. From my feelers, what is happening, I don't live in KB, I don't really stay KB, but I think I have friends and very good associates in KB. From what I get from what is happening there, the governor is a sport-loving person, and the man is actually investing heavily in sports. And if that trajectory continues, there is every likelihood that KB United is a team to watch out for. And I'm happy that Shola is going there, because this is a new project, and I'm sure if he's able to pull it through, he'll write his name in gold. What is important in coaching is actually going for virgin assignments like this and proving yourself. Then you are able to write your name in gold. But if you are going to teams that is already having pedigrees and are well established, people will not really take it that serious. But when you go for challenging jobs like this, especially the NNL, I like the adjective you use. This is the most challenging and the most important league. If we get it right at that point, I think our league will be better for it. That is what grassroots football is all about, because 90% of those who are playing the NNL are actually coming from the amateur ranks. And if you get it right at that level, and a coach that knows how to spot talents is able to get the right talents, prosecute the matches, get the right results, before you know it, you'll become a national icon.
Okay, now you are an expert in grassroots sports. Now, football, we're having Adewuyi, a coach, going to Kebbi United, because you heard Dan. Do you think he can turn the fortunes of Kebbi United around? Because every team playing in the NNL, the aim is to play in the elite division, that is the Nigerian Premier Football League, NPFL. Do you think this season will be a different one? Can he actually turn this around with his pedigree?
Yeah, so this is football where everything is possible, and we all watch Kebbi United last season in the Federation Cup,
yeah,
Presidential Cup they called it, yeah. you know, they put you know, a shocker to everyone. You know, they played to the semi-finals or quarterfinals rather. You know, so it's a team that has a lot of you know, talent, a lot of potentials, a lot of determinations, and of course, if they have a good coach in the class of Shola, I think they are likely to, you know, come all the way and you know, promote to the
Nigerian Premier Football League. Yeah. All right, let's go straight to Colombia. We will leave the shores of the country. Let's go straight to Colombia, where we're having the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Now, Danjuma optimistic ahead of competition. We know that the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup will kick off on the 31st of August, just days away from now. We are counting days away from now to the commencement of that competition. But our first game will come up on the 1st of September. You know, when competition is going on in that region, you watch late night, 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 3 a.m. That is when those games are coming up. But our Under-20 women's team wants to make a point this time around.
Sure, we'll stay up to watch the games. We're Nigerians, we're sport-loving people. We love our country. Wherever they go, we're always behind them. So. And for the girls, they've had good preparations, and I think they're going to be a very big hit at the global stage.
Okay. Now, Dan, for Coach Christopher Danjuma, an experienced coach when it comes to women's football, we have the likes of Venezuela, Korea, the Republic, and Germany, who beat us in the final twice, in the final of this particular competition. We're all in the same group. But this time around, Coach Danjuma granting some interviews to there that yes, it's time for Africa to actually win this particular competition.
And the materials to prosecute and get the results. But let me just say this quickly. It is normal for every coach to psych up himself and psych up his team to any competition. So I wouldn't have expected him to have said less than what he has done. And so it is normal for a coach to do what he's doing. I just want to believe that all we are doing is that we're just sure that this Falcons team should get out of the group stage, because we are forgetting that we're in a very, very, very dicey group where we have Venezuela, where we have Korea Republic, where we have, of course, I think Germany also, a European powerhouse in that group. So we just have to first of all get out of the group first before we begin to dream. The most important thing is to get out of that group, which is Group G. I think that is the most important thing, because one game at a time. Yeah, you can be talking tough, you can, but again, I want to believe that that is the best way to psych up the players and psych up himself. But let us try all we can to see that we get out of the group, then anything can begin to happen from there.
Okay, anything can begin to happen from there. Like I said, our first game will come up on the 1st of September, and that game will be played late in the night. We are sure to get the updates and every fixtures of the Falconets on our sports show coming to your screen from Trust TV. And Coach Christopher Danjuma optimistic ahead of this particular competition. We wish Falconets very well, because this is where we get girls, the women that plays in the Super Falcons. All right, going to the big story on the show this morning. NFF releases a Super Eagles 23-man squad for qualifiers. That's the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. The African Cup of Nations is coming up in Morocco, and we have a date with Benin Republic, Rwanda. The same team we are playing in the FIFA World Cup group. But the 23-man squad was released from NFF. Before I will allow you guys to react, let's just look at that list. Let's look at the complete list of the squad released by the NFF that our new coach, Labadia, Bruno Labadia, will work with. We'll start with the goalkeepers. Always the regular faces in the goalkeeping department is what we're saying. We have Stanley Uwambali, we have Maduka Okoye, we have Amas Obasogie of Bendel Insurance, and then for the defenders, we have William Ekong, who has Accord, who has moved to Saudi Arabia. We have Bright Osai Samuel playing under Jose Mourinho right now in the Turkish Super Liga. We have Olisanda from South Africa, that is PSL in South Africa, Premier Soccer League in South Africa. We have Bruno Onyemechi from Portugal. He's playing in Portugal. We have Oluwasemelogo Ajayi from England. We have Kevin Bassey. We have Olaoluwa Aina. We have midfielders now. We have Wilfred Ndidi. We have Rafael Onyedika. We have Al-Hassan Yusuf, who have moved to the MLS in America. We have Fisayo Dele Bashiru, who's now playing in the Italian Serie A with Lazio. We have Frank Oyeka. We have Alex Iwobi. For the forwards, we have Samuel Chukwueze. We have Victor Osimhen, a man that is not settled, no destination yet for him. We'll still talk about Victor Osimhen on the show. Kelechi Iheanacho, who is with Sevilla in La Liga. Victor Boniface, a champion. We have Moses Simon, who started the season well with Nantes. Ademola Lookman, Taiwo Awuni coming back after that injury that kept him out of the Super Eagles during the AFCON and also our qualifiers. Now, Shando, I will start with you. We have a new coach. We'll start from there before we look at the list that is on the screen. Now, Bruno Labbadia is coming, and a lot of person, he has no history with national team. He has not coached any African team. He has not coached any African club. And boom, NFF is giving us Bruno Labbadia.
NFF is full of surprises, and for Bruno Labbadia, I've never heard of him. I would have to be frankly saying with myself, I've never heard of him. But going by his profile, his CV, he's got quite a rich CV, and he's a German tactician, and I hope he brings in something unique that has been missing in the team. So let's see how it goes with him. But I must tell you the truth is I have no idea about who he is. Okay,
now looking at the list, let's go back to the list. Are you comfortable with some of the names that are in that list? Okay, let's look at Victor Osimhen, a player that has not played since the end of last season, and at the beginning of the season he had some games during the training, and they won a preseason game for Napoli, and he is of intense transfer. We are looking at that, but in general, are you comfortable with the names that because I believe Labbadia has not worked with all these players, so he can't make the list he doesn't know?
It's pretty difficult to give an answer to that, because this is not about what you and I feel it's comfortable or not. It's about what the federation think is best for the interest of the nation, interest of the football-loving Nigerians. Of course, there may be a justification to some of the inclusion as well as some of the exclusions, because for Osimhen, who has never kicked any ball this season, it's pretty difficult. But probably I feel he's actually undergoing some a bit tough moment, and the NFF feels that it's time we rally around him to give him some support to just make him feel mentally stabilized.
Okay, now Dan, what's your take? We'll look at the list. We'll also look at the coach, but we'll start with the coach, Bruno Labbadia. What is your take? You are one of those who are actually speaking about NFF giving us a very good coach, at least a man who can steady the ship for us. But now NFF surprisingly taking everybody by surprise, naming the German tactician, who is also a Portuguese, Italy. He has a relationship with those two countries. Now he's our new coach.
Well, I really don't know where to start from, because I've always been saying that we need this NFF to really tell us how they arrive at their decisions. But sometimes the more I look, the less I understand. And I think even the 1 or 2% that I think I am a little bit close to within the football family at the topmost level, I try as much as possible to stay away from them now, because I really don't know the way they think, whether maybe they think outside what we are thinking as sports journalists and analysts here and there. But I am so taken aback, because there are fundamental questions that need to be answered. Number one, how did he come into the fray? That is the first question. When did he apply? Who interviewed him? Where was he interviewed? These are the basic questions that any journalist should ask. Because it's not enough to say, oh man, the guy has had 487 matches that he has played. He has won 214. He has drawn 103. He has lost 170 matches. His winning ratio is 43.3%. Those are not just what is adding up. This man has not coached any team in Africa. He has never had African culture. He doesn't know what it takes to play in the continent. When was his last job? The last time I checked, he was a coach. The last time he sat on the bench of any team was 1 year, 3 months ago. These are the statistics that are out there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I am of this old school right now. Maybe, I don't know. But sometimes I get really, really worried what I see them do to us. Because we do know Renard was in the fray, and so many other coaches that were mentioned. Then from the Blues, from out of nowhere, a coach was named. Now, the question is, how did he manage to become the coach of the Super Eagles? Is it that somebody somewhere just decided that, okay, since you are looking for a coach and there is none available, let us foster this man on you? Well, time shall surely tell whether this is the right decision or not. But it's our country. We can only wish Nigeria the very best. This is what makes every one of us happy. So each time they are toying with the emotions of Nigeria, it gives some of us a lot of concern. Well, like I always tell people, do I know whether I'm going to live another 50,000 years again? I don't know. But at least as much as I know, I want to see our children growing up, loving this game the way we've loved it passionately, the way we've spoken about it on radio and televisions passionately, the way we have committed our time and resources into developing sport and doing all we can to promote sport. But here are some people. Some I do know for sure that they've not invested as much as some of us have done with toys in this game. But because they find themselves in position of privilege and opportunity, they toy with millions of Nigerians. The question now is that who is going to pay the bill of the coach? Yes, the federal government has said they will want to pick the bills. But if it's this NFF that I speak now on a national television, owing some coaches 71 million naira, a coach in Nigeria is owed 71 million naira, a dime has not been paid to that man, and you are employing another person. And yet some other coaches have been there languishing under your yoke of debts. Well, I don't know. Now, you have brought out a list. The list you have released, the fact remains that he wasn't the one who brought out that list. He's going to coach a team that he knows next to nothing about. Is he going to just be sitting and being a bystander on the day of the match? Or is he going to be a spectator like I and you? These are the burning questions. How many days to the match? On the 7th. Today is what? 28th. Well, let me just spare my fire there. I'll come back. Okay. Let me spare my fire there. But again, it gives me a lot of concern. That is why I'm talking the way I'm doing. I am emotional and I'm very, very pained when I see certain things done wrongly. But talking about the list, there are some players.
I understand what he's saying. He wanted to talk about the list. There are some players that shouldn't have been in that list. And for Bruno Labbadia, his first game will be against Benin Republic at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo. This same Benin Republic, you saw that highlight, defeated us during the World Cup qualifiers right there in Cote d'Ivoire. Now we'll see playing them again. I will know a man who is there, another German, in person of Gennett Roy, former Super Eagles coach. This game is coming up on the 7th of September, and today is 28th. We just have days to this game. So I don't know which miracle will Bruno Labbadia. He's coming to inherit a team. It's not that any of the Super Eagles player has played under him during his coaching career with teams, because he actually, all his coaching career was in Germany, the likes of Darmstadt, Stuttgart, Bayer Leverkusen. He was a player for Bayern Munich. All of this. No Nigerian player has ever played under him that was okay. Maybe from that he can get maybe a little bit of experience of Nigeria and African football.
With due respect to his personality, his profile and pedigree, I mean, if not until Nigeria, decided to make himself a laughingstock, we do not require any miracle to play a nation like Benin Republic. That's number one. Then also, I think even without a good coach, we should be able to have a good result against Benin Republic with due respect to the nation. And I don't want to call this a battle of two Germans. The thing is, NFF, as the other analyst has rightly said, they've toyed around our emotions and then they decide to do things in their own way. So for me, the players should understand. For now, we're not banking on the technical ability or the bench, who sits at the dugout or who stands at the touchline as a gaffer. We're talking about the players who actually know what it takes, to play in the AFCON, who also know how much support their families, stay behind them to support them, and how much over 200 million Nigerians, care about the national team, because for now, as it stands, this is actually the only thing that unites us together as a nation. So they should put at the back of their mind, and they shouldn't look at who stands at the dugout as their coach, but they should understand what that result will actually bring to so many Nigerians, numerous Nigerians.
Okay, now looking at the list from your end, do you think there's any player that is supposed to be there that was not listed from the NFF, and those who are coming back to the team due to injury, and one or two maybe they should have at least maybe should have made the team full of the players that were in, though half of the players that were in AFCON are also in this team, but some of them are not there?
The list has got a lot of questions to be answered. This is some inclusions are quite questionable, but you see, I don't know if they decide to make it in such a way that some players have actually done so much well for the team in the past. They've done a lot for the team, and the NFL, the federation could decide that this is the right time for us to just compensate them. I don't know, because if you want to go by current form and everything, how do you invite a player that has not played in the ongoing season, that has not played competitive game for a long period of time, and some of the omissions are, I don't want to mention names, but I mean, we all watch these games and we see how these players, they play their heart out there in their various clubs and everything. So this is about the federation. This is about what they decide to do. This is a question of who owns the yam and the knife and decides to cut it whenever and however he wants it. So. Of course, in a sense, society, opinions of the fans, of sport lovers, you can't. But in Nigeria, whatever we say here, stays just where we say it. So they don't give listening ears to how people feel. It's about they have the power to decide what to do and what not to do. So, but for me, there are some shocking inclusions as well as some shocking omissions in the team.
Okay. Now, Dan, you wanted to react to the list. You can go ahead, react to the list. We've seen the name. We've seen the list of the AFCON, not the team list for the World Under-20s Athletics Championship. That's for the Super Eagles. You've seen the list, and you wanted to react to it. Okay. What is your take about the list? You've talked about the coach. Yes. Now, looking at the list, okay, scrutinize it. What's your take about the names that was released, 23 players released by the NFF?
Like the analyst in the studio said, one thing is very certain, irrespective of who is playing for Nigeria, playing against Benin Republic. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, yes, they beat us in the World Cup qualifier in Côte d'Ivoire. To me, that wasn't really a yardstick to judge that the Beninians are becoming better than Nigeria. So I really don't want to believe that the list is bad. Stanley, of course, any day, anytime, any coach. I don't know what this new coach has in mind, but again, I'm likely going to see him at the goal post. Who is going to be there? Maduka, yes, he might just be. He had a wonderful season ending in Italy, and I want to believe that with the new opportunity he has been given, I want to believe that he might just be able to really be understanding what is happening. Now, let me start by the defenders. Of course, we do know naturally, of course, Samuel, Osai Samuel, and of course, we're talking about, I know these are natural short backers. Calvin Bassier, short backers for any day, anytime, any coach will surely use them. So there is really not much thing to expect there. But again, coming to the midfield, of course, it's still the traditional. But again, what my major concern is in the attack line, which is actually our strength in recent times, even though we have not been utilizing it properly. Now, Iheanacho is yet unsettled in Seville, where he has been to. He's just went to Spain. He's yet to stamp his authority there. Lookman is looking like a man who is good any day, anytime. But as it stands now, he has a double mind whether to continue with his Atlanta adventure or see if this PSG dream comes to fruition. Yeah. So he's actually having now. Osimhen is actually at the center of a major transfer tango. I don't know if bringing him at this point is the right thing, because the transfer window itself is closing on the 31st. So if for any reason Osimhen has opportunity to go for medicals and other things within this period, I think it will disrupt his plan of even featuring for the Super Eagles. But Simon Moses or Moses Simon, which will come first. I think I started on a very good note in France. And those are the kind of players we want to believe. Boniface, we hope and believe that he has started too well in the German Bundesliga. So in all, in the whole balance of play in the team list, I want to believe that this is a team that can be able to get us the 3 points. No doubt about it. All that we need to do is, the only fear I have now is that what is the formation if this new coach is coming to play? Because it's better for us to assume that if we had a local coach who would have taken charge of this match and perhaps play according to what we're used to and see if we can get something out of it. But if you bring in a tactical formation that is not familiar or alien to this player, and then I think that is another issue that will really work against us. And don't forget, we're playing against a coach that knows this thing in and out. Kenneth Ross spent about 5 years right here in Nigeria. Virtually all these players, most of them are played under him. So that is just my only fear. But as for the team list, I think it's fair, for now, the league is just starting in Europe. So these are the players that I think some of them are not too active right now. But then on the balance of play, I think they're still good enough for us to get the desired 3 points.
Okay, they are still good enough for us to get the deserved 3 points. The desired 3 points, not the deserved one, until 1st of June or until 1st of September. 7th of September, I beg your pardon, we will know if they actually deserve the 3 points. That game will be coming up at the Gospel Akpabio International Stadium. And 3 days later, they will be going straight to Rwanda to face the Amavubis on the 10th of September. So it's going to be a very tough one. These two teams are also in our 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying group. So let's see how it goes. Bruno Labbadia have a tax, and the question we are still asking, you've heard from the analyst, yes, what are the terms of his contract? We want to know how the NFF arrived at appointing Bruno Labbadia, because this was not a name that we were hearing. The likes of Jansen and Havarinad were the names we were hearing, but surprisingly, NFF took us by surprise, and someone jokingly said, yes, NFF brought in Bruno Labbadia Nicodemously. You know what that is all about. All right, let's leave the NFF and go straight to Europe. We'll look at, yes, it is a big spend. It's all about spending, and when you spend, definitely the competition will be tough. Teams will be fighting to get, at least to lay their hands on something to get the piece of the shares of this money. We're talking about the UEFA Champions League, the UEFA now, to spend 2.5 billion euros this season for the UEFA Champions League. That is for their club competition, UEFA Champions League competition, Europa League, Conference League, and 2.5 billion euros is what that has been set aside for this season. Before my analysts, before they react to it, let's look at the breakdown of how these 2.5 billion euros, 2.5 billion euros will be spent, not 2.5 billion naira. I'm thinking about the naira. This is how it's going to be, the breakdown of it. We have 18.6 million euros each to all of the 36 teams in the league phase. You know, this time around, the 2024-2025 UEFA season will change. The format will change, so it's going to be in a league format, no longer the regular, the way they used to play. And then 2.1 million euro for every win. If you win, 2.1 million euros for every win, and then you're going to take home 700,000 euros for every draw. Then as the competition progresses, there's going to be additional payments depending on performance. Shiando, 2.5 billion euros will be spent this season in the UEFA club competition, and we're seeing the breakdown. The breakdown is on the screen. If you want to compare what they will be spending to what we have in Africa, because we look at it side by side, but a whole lot of money this season for all of the clubs. It's going to be different. It's going to be played in a league format. No longer when you have group A, group B. Now it's going to be a league format with 36 teams.
2.8 billion euros.
Yes, they are going to be spending 2.5 billion euros. 2.5
billion euros, that's a lump sum. But the good thing is, this is a society where there's culture for, how things are implemented, and they do follow up. This is not like our beloved African continent where we hear figures and then nobody knows where the figures, disappear to. So for me, for them to have come up with such a huge, for UEFA to have decided to come out with such amount. I mean, I know that there's a lot of things they will have to put in place. They have to look at the players' welfare. They have to look at the teams' welfare, well-being, because some teams struggle. Some teams are actually from smaller Europe nations. Yeah. So they want everything to be able to, that qualifies for the tournament, to be able to meet up their needs and everything. So I have no doubt that all the money will be well implemented, and there will be a thorough follow-up to make sure that every money goes to whoever deserves to have it.
Okay, Dan. We've seen 2.5 billion euros for UEFA Champions League. We know we have Champions League, we have Europa League, and then we have the Conference League. But this particular amount is a huge one. How exciting do you think it's going to be? Because this time around, as you play, as you progress, definitely you are getting some money into the bank account.
All right, thank you so much, because I think you did a very fantastic job by giving the breakdown. But again, further giving an insight, 32 to 36, that is the first instant that is going to be happening now. And beyond that, that is what we call first initial fee, which is 670 million euros. Then competition performance fee, which is going to be about 853 million euros. Then, of course, we have what we call the final value, which is 853 million euros. That is actually the overall, that means a net breakdown of the whole total destiny. Maybe in addition to your own analysis and your own breakdown, you have forgotten to say that even the winner of the worst team in the Champions League this season will still go home with 275,000 euros.
Yeah.
And then the winner, of course, will go with 9.9 million euros. So in all, that is money for everybody that will be participating. That is what football is all about. The more they gather this money from the clubs, they share it out again back to the club. That is how to develop leagues. And in Europe, that is why it is difficult for other parts of the world to catch up with the European standard, because they invest so massively in their league. And the best thing that is happening to Europe right now is that they are expanding the scope of reach to some teams that hitherto might not have been able to come into the big league if not for this expansion. So with this, there is going to be more money to the smaller teams, and of course, they will develop their leagues. So it's a welcome development. We should kind of take a leave or borrow a leave, so to say, from what is happening in Europe. But the question is that they have big sponsors. They have big companies that are coming in to sponsor the championship. We hope that Africa, under Mosepe, will also be able to attract big brands that will be able to sponsor the African Football League.
Yes, that will be able to sponsor the African Football League. Yes, for Africa, all of the teams that are playing the CAF Champions League will get that is a 50,000 US dollars. That is what CAF actually said. So the likes of Enugu Rangers and Remo Stars got 50,000 US dollars. Now, as you progress, you also get more money. But like Dan opined, we should also borrow a leaf from the UEFA body and see how we can also improve our own. But they have big sponsors. We also need to attract sponsors to our league. Let's still stay with Europe. This time around, La Liga games. There were 2 games in La Liga last night, and Barcelona coming from behind to beat Rayo Vallecano 2-1. And then we have Mallorca and Sevilla, that is the club of Kelechi Iheanacho, playing on a goalless draw. Now we'll leave that and we will look at 2 transfers on the show before we go. And I will start with you, Shando. Chelsea, PSG, keen on Victor Osimhen. They're still keen on this guy, and the clock is ticking down. Tick, tick, tick the clock. 31st of August, the transfer window will shut down.
Unfortunately, the case of Victor Osimhen is becoming like that of Kylian Mbappe from PSG to Real Madrid. We expected that this must have been sorted out long ago before now, but unfortunately, it keeps prolonging, and I hope his advisors and whoever handles his affairs understands what it takes and how exactly the boy feels right now, because I think it's beginning to mess up his mental health. And it's something that they have to ensure that they put their hands together to quickly get it resolved. And for Chelsea, we keep seeing a lot of transfers, and it's becoming a team of quantity, no more qualities. But I hope Victor, if they succeed in signing him and he brings in something different from what we've seen, just like Felix, who became an instant hit for them. Of course, he had a spell with them on loan in the past, and I think Victor is a guy who plays physical game, and if he comes into the team, I know that it's definitely going to be a good one for him, a good one for the Chelsea management. The Chelsea fans, and of course we Nigerians, because Mikel Obi took us there, and right from the days of Celestine Babayaro, and whoever comes there as a Nigerian, wins our support.
All right, Dan, quickly, I believe you have one or two to say about it in 20 seconds. In 20 seconds.
Yeah, I want to believe that your analyst is a pro-Chelsea supporter somehow. But I honestly want to be on a serious note that if I were in Victor's shoe and his advisors, I should go to PSG. He has played in the French League One before. I think that is the right place to go at this time.
Okay, that is where he should be at this time around. But for Victor Osimhen, that we're still yet to see where he's going to be at the end of the transfer window. Will close on the 31st of August, and a lot of persons are saying yes, it's going to be a big one on the 31st at the middle of the night, when we just see Osimhen in one of these two clubs, Chelsea or PSG. Is now left for his agent and every of his management to get him a club. And the last one on the show, I will not allow my analysts to react to this. Chelsea approaches Brentford for striker Ivan Toney, and Shandu rightly mentioned they are going for quantity, no longer quality. All right, that is where we'll be leaving it on the show. Dan, thanks for joining on the show on the way from Mina, and to you, Shandu, thank you for coming up on the show too.
You're welcome, Mr. Fash, and as I always say, it's always a pleasure having myself around you.
Okay, all right, that is it on the program. I am Emmanuel Fashemi. Thanks for watching.